This tutorial is for an invisible zipper. This type of zipper is typically found on women's garments, either at the center back or the side, sometimes in the front, but less common. To prepare the fabric for zipper insertion, you should finish the edges of the seam allowances on the two pieces. In this sample, I'll be using the serger, but you could also zigzag the edge. After serging the seam allowances, make a mark showing where the bottom of the zipper will go on the wrong side of both pieces of fabric. To make it easier to insert the invisible zipper, I've chosen to mark the seam allowances on both pieces of fabric on the right side of the fabric with washable fabric pen. For this zipper insertion, you will need an invisible zipper foot. This can be purchased at the fabric store. It's fairly inexpensive. The foot comes with several attachments that will allow it to adapt to various models of sewing machines. So you select the blue piece that will fit on your machine. Remove the shank and presser foot from your machine and replace it with the invisible zipper foot. Slide the shank along the foot until your sewing machine needle is exactly centered on the foot, and you can see there's a small indent in the foot that shows exactly where that center position is. Open the zipper and position it on the left piece of fabric as you are looking at it, with the zipper right side down towards the right side of the fabric, as you can see in the image. The seam where you're actually going to stitch should be lined up with the line that you drew on the fabric. So it's not the zipper teeth itself, but just to the immediate right of the zipper teeth, there's like a little groove there where we will be stitching. And that groove is what needs to be lined up with the stitching line. At the machine, you can see how the front of the invisible zipper foot is actually pushing the zipper open in a sense, making that groove where the stitching goes accessible to the needle. So I like to start with my needle actually in the fabric, right where I want it to begin sewing. And I will back stitch as I normally do, but only a couple stitches, and then start sewing down the zipper. And the foot does a good job. It actually will open that zipper up as long as you're stitching straight and position it correctly to stitch right alongside the zipper. You do want to be careful. If your stitching happens to go off the track and you hit the zipper teeth or anything like that, then you will not be able to close the zipper later. This is the zipper stitched in place. You can't actually see the stitching because the zipper has once more folded back and covered the stitching. And I did stop stitching at the dot. Now, one thing that's unique about this, with other zippers, normally we would stitch the two pieces of fabric together first and then put the zipper in, but with the zipper foot, you actually insert the zipper first and then you stitch the seam below the zipper after it is in place. After stitching the first side, I recommend you close the zipper and check to make sure that it is going to close smoothly, because you are stitching very close to the teeth and you want to make sure you haven't accidentally stitched too close. To set up the second side, you want to put the other side of the zipper, right side of the zipper towards the right side of the fabric, and pin it in place. Again, aligning that groove with the seam line on the fabric. And if in doubt, sometimes I zip up the zipper and position it like it should look when it's finished, just to make sure that I get it aligned properly when I start pinning the second side. Stitch the second side the same as the first. The only difference is that you are running the zipper teeth through the right side of the foot where it is pushed to the side so that you can stitch in the groove. It looks a little funny when it's finished, but we have now stitched the two sides of the zipper, and after testing to make sure that it closes properly, then we'll be ready to finish it. The zipper closes nicely, and as you can see, none of the zipper other than the tab is actually visible, which is the whole point of the invisible zipper. However, the bottom has yet to be stitched, so that's what we'll be doing next. When finishing the bottom, the goal is to finish in such a way that the seam blends smoothly into where the zipper is stitched, so that it's impossible to tell where the zipper stops and where the seam starts. The whole piece will look like one continuous seam. Start by adjusting the zipper foot, sliding it along the shank so that the needle is on the far right side of the foot, quite close to the edge of the foot. If your zipper insertion was accurate, you will position your fabric so that it is lined up with the 1.5 line, and you want to start at the bottom and sew up towards the bottom of the zipper. And again, back stitching. Now once you get to the zipper, you need to fold as much as possible, fold that zipper away so that you can stitch right up beside the zipper, and you want to extend your stitching about 1 centimeter or 1/2 inch up beyond where the bottom of the zipper stitching is, and finish it off there. Now if you don't get it perfect the first time, you may need to rip and try again. Sometimes I need to do this a couple times before I get that smooth, perfect finish that I'm looking for. Go back to the regular foot, and if the zipper is too long, you can back stitch at just below the bottom of the zipper where you ended your stitching, and then trim off the excess below that. The invisible zipper application is complete.